Hello again, and welcome to our program. I'm Harry Greenberger. I'm the president of the New Orleans Secular Humanist Association, and for these many years, the host of this program. This morning, we're talking to two young ladies who are students at SouthEastern Louisiana University, and they have things of current interest to us all. And let me just first introduce them. We have with us Katie Malone and Elizabeth Cox. And why don't we just start by, if you would like to just give us some personal information about how you got to this point in your life, and then we'll talk about your organization.
Well, I became an agnostic when I started college, and I was a biology major. And as I learned about science, it kind of took away my need for a higher power. When I learned, how we all evolved in a very detailed process, it was easier for me to accept it that way instead of just hearing about evolution, and you kind of accept it, but you don't know how it all happened. As a bio major, you learn how it happens. So then it was more like, okay, maybe he's there, maybe he's not, who cares? But I became an atheist as I started to read social science books, and I started to learn about some of the effects that religion has on our society, and it kind of pulled me away from religion altogether and said, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to have any part of it.
And you say this began when you came to college. What year are you in now?
I am a junior.
Oh, very good. Katie, will you want to tell us?
Well, for me, I wasn't raised too much on too much of a Christian foundation or any type of church participation. But I did go for a few years, and in the few years it was okay. I always thought it was kind of silly. To me, it always just seemed like, fables and stories to guide you through your life. And as I got older, I learned more, about evolution and things she was talking about. And those aren't stories. Those are factual, and they make more sense. So for me, it's easier to accept those as it is the stories. And ultimately, I don't feel like we'll ever know, so there's really no point in ever.
Are you also a junior? Or
I'm going to be a junior this semester.
Very good. Well, so at SouthEastern, and the name of your organization goes under the name of Selushan. What do those letters stand for?
It's Southeastern Louisiana University's Secular Humanist and Agnostic Network.
Wow.
It's a mouthful.
Now, so were the two of you originators of that group? And tell us how, about putting the group together and how it all came about and where it stands.
It started as, all good groups start at a little coffee house in Covington. We would meet and kind of talk about, this was over last summer, we would just meet every Monday evening and kind of, talk about what we wanted to do. It was like 4 or 5 of us. And I think the big thing over the summer was getting us officially recognized by the university. There were a lot of hoops you had to jump through. So we did that, and pretty much, we had the SSA, which is the Secular Student Alliance. They helped us. They sent us a lot of material to work with.
That's a national organization.
Right. So we became affiliated with them. And then once we were recognized by the university, we were able to make flyers and start putting flyers up on campus. We wrote an email invitation, started sending it out on Facebook and MySpace, which are huge social network things for our generation. So we were able to just reach a lot of people in a very short period of time. The group grew that way, and let's see.
Well, now, when you said that you had to jump through some hoops, did you have problems because of the nature of the organization, or just that's what organizations have to do?
All of them. It was surprising because I thought we'd run into a problem.
And you also had to have a faculty advisor.
We did.
Tell us about your faculty advisor.
He is the evolution teacher on campus, but he's not an atheist. He's actually kind of, I think spiritual would be the word.
People do use that as an alternative to being religious.
Mm-hmm. But he was very supportive, and, we've actually gotten a lot of faculty support. The faculty have been amazingly supportive of what we're trying to do.
You have one excellent faculty member in the philosophy department who has a national reputation.
Absolutely.
Have you had her at any of your meetings?
Dr. Forrest, I think she's really busy.
Barbara Forrest is since she published her book, and then after she became the star witness in the case in Pennsylvania, and I see her name shows up as a featured speaker at various national. So I'm sure she's busy, but I also think she's probably very proud of your group.
She is. She's been very supportive, but she was supposed to be on a debate. A dialogue, but she ended up getting sick. However, she did email me and says she wants to do something with the group next semester.
Yes.
So I know she plans on.
And she will. She will do everything she can. Have you read her book, by the way? Well, if you get a chance, you ought to read her book.
It's on my list.
All right. Well, now, after you became an official campus organization, tell me about some of the meetings you've held or some of the speakers you've had. Tell us, a little more about that.
Well, our first event, our launch event, was a screening of Religious with Bill Maher, a documentary, which really speaks out to our generation. And it's, if for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's all about spreading doubt, and that's kind of what what we're about, is just bringing up questions. So it was a great idea for a launch event, and that was the most successful way for us to get our group as large as it was, because we started off with maybe about 10 members, and after that we doubled in size.
That's wonderful.
So
tripled and quadrupled.
Yeah, that event went really well. Since then, we have a bi-monthly meeting, and we discuss different topics.
Let me ask you, when you say bi-monthly, you mean every 2 months or twice a month?
Twice a month.
Semi-monthly.
Semi-monthly.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to clarify that. Bi-monthly would be
I've
once
been
every
using
2
the
months.
wrong word for a really long time then.
All right. Well, look, you're still in college, and I already graduated. All right. So you're having these twice a month meetings.
Correct.
Generally with a speaker and a topic, or other.
Generally, we just kind of talk amongst ourselves and talk about things we want to do in the future. It's kind of a strategy meeting, if you will. And then last November, we had our biggest event, which was Is Science Compatible with Religion? And it was a civil dialogue, and it had 5 different professors, 4 from SLU, 1 from Tulane, and we also had a student member.
Okay. I'm going to want to go into more detail about that dialogue that you had, but then tell me more about, since you're meeting as often as you do, what sort of topics do you all like to talk about and throw around, and do you find that generally everyone at that meeting is in agreement, or do you have to persuade each other of different things? Well, tell me about see.
For the most part, we all agree. If you want to go ahead and talk about our topics.
Let's see. We've had a lot of just discussions at our meetings. I want to change it up a bit and have mini events at the meetings and have speakers come and talk to us. But for this semester, with us just starting, it was hard to have the resources to get things like that done. So we did a lot of discussion. One was coming out as a free thinker, where we just kind of tossed around some questions, and everybody answered. And, we're all different flavors of non-theists, and some of us are kind of quiet in the closet, and others are kind of aggressive.
Exactly.
We actually have a Christian member.
Well, that's all right, and I presume that...
Absolutely. It just shows that we're open to anybody and anybody's opinions.
And that is very good. And when you use the term free thinker, a lot of people can be more comfortable with that than the many of the other names. And in our organization,